Morning, church. Pastor Brandon back with you again this morning, picking up near the end of Philippians chapter 1. We just talked yesterday about Paul to live as Christ, to die as gain, that Paul had peace in death, and he had excitement in life to serve Christ. And he picks up there in verse 26, and he says, "So that in me you may have ample cause to glory in Christ Jesus because of my coming to you again," talking about that he's excited to hopefully come back to see the Philippians. And he says, "Only let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel of Christ, so that whether I come and see you or I am absent, I may hear that you are standing firm in one spirit with one mind, striving side by side for the faith of the gospel." Now this morning we're filming in the worship center because it reminds me of when we were able to fellowship together, when we were able to worship together. And Paul is talking about the reason that, man, it's still awesome to live for Christ is because we get to do this thing together. We get to advance the gospel together. And he's reminding the Philippians of that, hey, whether I get to come to you or whether we're separated, I'm still encouraged by your faith. I'm still encouraged to walk and advance the gospel on my own or side by side with you, reminding them that there's strength together. And he adds a little bit of accountability here in verse 27, because he says, "Only let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel." You see, Paul is very aware of what sacrifice was made for him. Remember, Paul was a persecutor of the church and met Jesus on the road to Damascus and realized how great his sin was. And yet Jesus forgave him. Through his sacrifice on the cross, he was able to be set free from that sin and live to follow Christ all the days of his life. And he recognizes the sacrifice that Christ had to make. So he wants to live a life worthy of the manner of that gospel. So basically he's encouraging the church here, no matter what, live your life worthy of the gospel of Jesus Christ. If we proclaim a gospel about a Jesus who changed our lives, then we should be living changed lives. And that's all we do to live worthy of the gospel. We live changed lives, representing what Christ has done for us and pronouncing that to the world. And that is the good news. That's the gospel that Paul wants us to understand and to live out and to present to others. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, church.